Vitiligo Camouflage workshop, and we're very happy to have the support of Julie Buckley from Colored Derma Australia, Colored Derma Solutions, and also the Skin Hospital here. So we're going to be demonstrating 4 products today. So basically, there's several different brands of skin camouflage products, and each of them have got several pros and cons, and Julie and the other people demonstrating will be discussing those. So we want to talk about like ease of application,
Yep.
The range of tones available to meet different skin types, sun protection qualities maybe, and durability, whether it will come off easily, and if it's wet or it's a hot day, etc. And also the approximate cost and availability within Australia and abroad. So,
Okay.
without any further ado, I'll hand it over to Julie.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. As Mohan said, my name's Julie Buckley. I've been in the camouflage industry for nearly 20 years, which sounds pretty scary as itself. And about 4 years ago, I created the umbrella of the entity called Colored Derma Solutions. Because prior to that, I was with a company that was heavily involved in product development and business development. And because we had all the hands-on experience, hearing all the feedback from years of clients, we knew exactly what they wanted. And it's not a one-stop shop on one product. Basically, just like your skin and your skin condition is very personal, it's very individual. So therefore your solution should be individual. So we try to get a few range of products under the same umbrella. So to help navigate people, because most of the people, like for instance with vitiligo, they might not have ever had any skin problems before. So they have no idea where to start, what's available. They end up going in the wrong direction or wasting a lot of money, experimenting and just getting fatigued and spending, more time being stressed, which is the worst thing you can do with vitiligo. So trying to hold their hand, navigate them with, okay, in this area, we would use this product with your lifestyle. So for instance, if it's on your face and if it's around your eyes, we would go with a soft cream. If it's on your hands, we'll go legs, arms, we go with a product that's going to be harder wearing, waterproof. And especially here in Australia, we live in a harsh climate. So it's going to take a beating, it's going to have sweating, and you don't want things rubbing off on your clothes. You don't want to go shake hands and feel like it's rubbing off onto that person or the furniture. We've had people say that they pick up their baby and the baby's wearing all that cream that they've had on their face. And so we take all that information and try and, as I said, navigate and hold their hand to work out what's the best solution. So the first product I'm going to talk about is Dermacolor. That's made by Krylon, and that's been around for about 80 years. They have a very large range of both different product in different textures. Again, it's a personal choice what you want to, how you feel. Like we've got a fluid which is quite soft and easy to apply on your face. So it's just a bit more of a heavy duty version of standard foundation. So it's going to be a bit more water resistant and smudge proof. They've also got little tubs of colour that is a different feel, and some people prefer that, or some people, as I said, just prefer the liquid because it's easier to blend. And they also have a fixing spray. They have powders as well, but a fixing spray then can go over the top of everything. It's got an SPF rating of 20, and it just gives it a little bit more staying power, like a bit like a lacquer over the top. And we have that stocked mainly because it can go over any of the products that we have. So then that way we not only just focus on one product for you, we'll focus on, you know, different products in different parts of your body and mix and match and cross them over, which is a lot easier, really, rather than you shopping around to half a dozen different shops. The other product we have, which is from the UK, and we import that here to Australia, and that's called Keromask. That is a really soft, velvety cream, very highly pigmented. So a little dot goes a long way. I'm actually wearing Keromask at the moment. I have a number of autoimmune conditions and different skin conditions that come along with that. One of them is on my face is rosacea, and let me just pass me that fluid over the salad and the sponge. So just for time, I put it on, so I'll just take it off. It's like every product we stock, we actually wear, we test drive it ourselves so we can say from personal experience what it does, how it feels. It's not, I wouldn't sell something that I don't know personally how it feels. This one, when I first got it, I was going to a funeral up in Cairns in January, so you know it's going to be hot, sweaty and crying. So I was like, that's a good test run to see if the product stays, and it did. So the only probably smudgy bit is when I kept on pressing the tissues into the corner of my eye, and it took a little bit off there, but everywhere else with crying and everything else didn't budge. So this is a cleansing sponge that we sell, mainly because it just gets in and really cleans the pores. So you can probably see it's a fairly, like I would say, as far as foundations and things like that, it's a full cover. Does that look off? Yep. Does it look red and blotchy? So, yeah, like as I said, it's all a personal choice over what works for you. The Keromask it only comes in a little 15 ml tube, but as I said, a little bit goes a long way. And those tubes, for instance, would retail at $40. So it's quite good value, especially if you've got smaller patches, like sometimes we might put like this around the eye area, which is more sensitive and the skin is quite thin, and then we'll put Derm and spray that on this part or down your neck, and as I said, they can butt up and work together quite easily. So what I had on was, just to give you an idea, colour. That was a mixture of light number 3 and light 7. So, and they have also a white, a rose and a yellow, which you can tint up and down to personalise the colour again, which is quite handy because our background is colour matching, so we like the fact that you've got some control over what colour you end up with.
I looked through at products to use for camouflage, but particularly for vitiligo patients, and at the time 8 years ago I wasn't overly satisfied with the products that I was finding, and I just wanted to find better options. So I started to do a little bit of research, and one of the products that I found was Zanderm. And Zanderm, the best way that I could describe it, or the way that I describe it to patients and other doctors that I speak to is that it's almost like they tan in a texture, it's a skin ink. So there's a lot of benefits to this particular product, and it was one of the products that I found that stood out a little more from some other products, although I found that each product has a place and a great use for different things. So with this particular product, it stains the skin, and it actually stays on for roughly about 24 to 48 hours. Given that you don't wash the area with a cleanser or use a moisturizer, anything that has an oil base would remove this. So when you apply a product like this to the skin needs to be clean and dry, free of oils, in order for a skin stain or a skin ink to penetrate the skin. Once it sets, and it sets within a couple of seconds, it then no longer transfers. So you are able to actually apply a product like this to your hands, and then be able to work, shake hands, touch your clothes, things like that, without having the fear of that this product is going to transfer onto your clothing. And I wanted a product that felt that it could be applied to children, to men and women alike, because a lot of men that came in had said to me, I want to use camouflage, but I don't want to be perceived as wearing makeup, and this gave them an option. And although sometimes the colour range can be limited, so it's not always perfect, it at least reduces the visibility, which then, most of us have uneven skin tone, and if our eyes are not drawn towards that, difference in the skin colour, a lot of the time people don't even notice then that there is anything, unusual or uneven there. So this is the brochure. So Zanderm looks like this, and the product can just be purchased online. So the product comes from the US. There's two types of applicators. So there's a large applicator that looks like this, and then there's these little textures. I find the textures the most useful because you can really, it's literally as easy as colouring inside the inside of the lines. But with time, I found that there was an art to it, a technique. So it's start really light, use a tiny little bit, and then build from there. The most important thing is actually just getting the correct colour match from the start. So in Australia, we no longer have like a stockist or somewhere that you can colour match, but the Zanderm website has really fantastic AI technology there, where you can send in a photo of yourself. You can also contact the customer service team, and then they can colour match you as close as they can to the right colour. Occasionally, you'll be a mixture of two colours, but doesn't happen too often. And then also in terms of if you're having light therapy treatment, seasonal changes where your skin might change colour, as long as you've got the right colour tone, it's just a matter of building layers of this product, like layers of the colour to get the depth of colour. And then the other thing that I really like about this is that this product works really well together with other products. So if you have gone through like what Julie spoke about, with product exhaustion, we've bought so many different products and you already have things, and maybe you don't get the complete coverage, like there's still that visible change in tone under the skin. You can put something like Zanderm on underneath, and then you use your normal products over the top, or something that you might already have, and actually achieve complete coverage. And that's the thing that I really like. So it can be used just by itself for just general day-to-day to reduce visibility, or it can be used for like a very special occasion like photos, a wedding, something like that, where you really want that full coverage. You could use something like Zanderm underneath, and then one of these other products over the top, and get that complete coverage, that seamless, beautiful look. So I'll just very briefly demonstrate this product actually on my wrist, and then you can actually see the technique of how I apply it. So again, the most important thing is to have clean skin without, any moisturizers, so no ointments, no creams, anything like that. And then, so with the pen, so as you can see, it literally just looks like a texture. And then you would just very lightly with the tip, just apply like this, just like a little feather stroke. And I'm not sure if you can see here. And then immediately after that, I dab it. And the dabbing effect gives it a more natural dispersion on the skin. Because as you can see, if I were to only just put it on like that, it's quite dark, but you could make a mistake very easily. And obviously, if you apply it to skin that has no pigmentation, it will colour that area. But if you apply it to the edges of the skin where there is existing pigmentation, it will darken that skin as well. So that's where it's quite important to try and work within the confines of the area that you want to colour in. The great thing is that you can easily remove it using micellar water or just using a cleanser. And then the other great thing is that they offer it in the larger applicators. So if you have large areas to cover, you do have the large applicators so that you can, dab it on larger areas. So you could buy, one large applicator and maybe a small applicator, and it wouldn't take forever to cover these kind of things. It's very safe to use. So the main ingredient is witch hazel, which is being tested, and it also doesn't interfere with UV light therapy treatments because it falls on the yellow colour spectrum. So it's the least going to affect your UV light therapy, although most doctors do recommend that you are completely product free if you're having light therapy at the same time. But in terms of a product for vitiligo, I feel like it's a game changer because you can actually put it on and go swimming. Like, it won't come off in just water. You need a cleanser or a moisturizer to actually remove the product. Some patients have said to me that they get about 48 hours with this product on. I find it's more realistically about 24 hours. But because it's such a small applicator and product, you can have it in your handbag. It's a really good, easy go-to option. And again, one that's very nice for hands. But the main thing is to get the right colour match. So Zanderm do offer samples, so they can send you little vials, and they usually recommend to get about 3 or 4 different colours, and then work from there and try and find what your colour is. But yeah, for me it was a really great product to go with, and a really good one to work with the other existing products that are on the market at the moment.
So what's the cost?
So the cost is, it's these applicators are $25 USD. So depending on the conversion rate at the time, I think it might be about $40 Australian. And there is also the large ones. I think they work out to be about $60 Australian dollars. But Zanderm often offer really great deals. So if you sign up for their website, they often have like 2-for-1 deals, things like that. So I encourage most of my patients to sign up to their website, and then they can take advantage of any deals that are coming up. And there's also really great educational videos on there, just showing you how to apply the product and frequently asked questions and things like that. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello Derma to demonstrate another product now. We're going to do next one will be
Next one is Derm by Design,
Derm.
and
That's a new product.
that's
so.
brand new. This is where it's getting launched right here now. It's the first time it's out in the world.
Where is that? Australia based?
Yeah, Australian owned, Australian made. It is the most hard wearing of the camouflage.
Yeah.
It's completely waterproof. It's vegan, it's gluten free, it's got a vegetable protein, castor oil, easy ingredients to have on your skin. It does have alcohol in it, but that is just the deliberate, and that flashes off and evaporates and just to leave the film. So it's completely waterproof. Depending on your skin, how long it lasts, because it only sticks to that epidermis, that first layer of skin. So as you shed your skin, it's going to break down. So if you've got dry skin, a lot of dry, neglected skin, it will stay the longest because it's got more to hang on to. So if you're, so for instance, my colleague Kevin, he goes surfing all the time, he has showers 2 days a week. And when we're, again,
2 days, 2 times.
2 days so twice a day. and he, you know, when we're testing products and making sure that they are, you know, as waterproof and strong and everything else that it's supposed to be, we get the most wear out of it because we've got dry skin. So we can have it for a week and sometimes a bit longer, but it might look a bit shabby by into the second week. So it just depends on how, you know, we have people that will wear it until it literally wears itself off. But if you want it nice, clean, fresh, flawless look, you might take it off by day 3, day 4, day 5, depending on your skin type and also on what part of your body. So face, you've naturally got a lot more oils on your face, so it's going to break down a little quicker. So we say 24 to 48 hours is pretty good, but we have people that hang in there for 3 days. Hands are the next one because it's just purely the wear and tear and washing of hands. So again, we have some people will get a day, other people, we've got clients that say they get 3 and 5 days. So it's really depends on how, and your application, like we've got airbrushing, we've got stippling, we've got people with a sponge, we've got people that put it on with a makeup brush, and it's a less is best type of product. So the most thin layer you can get and build that up to get the desired cover, you're going to get longer wearing out of it rather than just a thick, trying to get it covered in one hit. It just ends up being thick and crepey and might not actually dry as well. So therefore it won't stick as well. So your application is very important. So we have off-the-shelf colours and we also have customised colours. So
we've got a
model here. So my model today, Melinda, she's been with us for a very long time and followed our journey through products, and she has got quite extensive vitiligo, but walking past her in the street, you wouldn't know where. So she has learnt the art of airbrushing very well, and that's part of your
daily routine.
Daily, weekly?
Well, topping up my fingers, it's daily, but
Yeah.
it can last up to 4, sometimes 5 days. Depends on activity.
Yeah. Any idea where her patches are? No? And she's got a customised colour, so it's depending on the time of year. Like sometimes, especially because she's naturally olive, she could change colour. You know, she can go on a cruise, might tan up a bit. Winter, she might fade off a bit. So we do new colour matching, either in person or we'll send photos and colour it and get samples to her. But so you're going to reveal and show people where to get started. So she's not stripping off or anything.
No, I'm not doing that.
We suggested just take an arm off, and then she will also demonstrate this week. And as I said, because she's been on a cruise and it changes a little bit. So she's doing. So because it's completely waterproof, you do need a remover to get it off. And just like the Zanderm, it's best to have it clean, dry skin to put it on with, just so it's got something to stick to. It doesn't block the pores. It actually wraps around the pores, so it's very breathable and flexible. And because Melinda has, you know, as I said, perfected the art of airbrushing, she can airbrush herself quite quickly. She's travelled all over the world with her compressor and airbrush.
Yep.
You've only got, what was the problem on the cruise, wasn't it? They questioned the compressor.
Yes, but with a letter from the doctor, you can easily verify the product as a medical condition, and they soon give it straight back to me, so it's not a problem. So I do travel with a letter just specifying what I'm carrying, a compressor, air gun, and the products. And yeah, once it's all checked off, it's back with me in the room.
We
I don't
always
go
tell-
anywhere without it.
We always tell people not to have the airbrush on their carry-on because it's got a needle in it.
Yeah, I always put it
Considering
underneath.
they take tweezers off you on the plane, so.
Well, that should be enough. Just to give you an idea, I do have it everywhere. It's on both arms, legs, torso, and so forth. Neck.
Right. Because it's really only your husband that's seen the
Yes.
beauty in a hole, eh?
Yes, that's right. You can see just the colour is matched to your skin. It's quite easy to blend through. And it's basically just filling the gaps.
Sometimes
Very light.
people freak out thinking the equipment, it scares them off, but actually airbrushing can be more forgiving than doing it with a sponge because you're putting it on so thin and therefore like it's easier to blend those edges because when you put any of the products and you're trying to butt up against the natural skin, you don't want that halo around that patch that actually highlights it even more. So one thin layer, and Melinda's just working away up her arm, and then she can come back and put another layer on.
Did you get a question? Yeah.
Sure.
Can you be applied on the face?
Yes, yep, anywhere. Obviously, it gets the coordination in the mirror, doing it on yourself, on your face. We have people that look like gymnasts or something that can get up around their shoulders and things like that. But if they've got it like in the middle of your back, you might need someone to give you a hand.
Does it use a lot of product when you do it?
Surprisingly not, because there's literally no wastage when you're airbrushing because you're only in with the airbrush. It's not like doing a fake tan with a big, you know, have to be in a spray booth or anything like that. It's, you know, Melinda's not very fast, so you're not wasting overspray or anything like that. And you know, like it's not drying up in the bottle or something. So, you know, and like say for instance in winter, Melinda might not do her whole arms, depending on what you know, like if you know you're not going to be showing your legs that week, you wouldn't bother.
It changes depending on what you're wearing and especially winter.
And it's, you also, you pick your application, If you go into work and just want some coverage, you might do a light coverage just to fill in the white. Then you might have a wedding or something special on that weekend. So you're going to put more effort, use more product to make yourself a little bit more fun.
When I do have a special occasion and I want to wear the shoestring sort of dress, my husband will help me spray my back and so forth. But these days I try and use wear things with a cup sleeve to make it easier for me.
Doesn't feel sticky or anything like
No,
that
'cause
once
it's-
it's dry.
No, because the alcohol evaporates,
That
leaves the film, and then we put a powder on to seal it, and that soaks up any possible stickiness, and you're good to go then.
If you don't use the powder, does it sort of just dry?
Depending on your skin, like I've got dry skin,
Yeah.
and I can get away, if I've been doing testing and that, and you forget that you didn't put the powder on, it's dried itself, the skin's just, there. But if someone was more likely to have oily skin, they would need that powder. So we have a lot of Indian clients, and they have a tendency to be a little bit more oily, and so therefore they would definitely use powder, but they might even use a little bit more powder than I would. So as I said, it's so personalised as far as what feels comfortable, and it's just like as if you were doing your makeup. Like some people, we have one coat's enough. They just want to get rid of the stark white, and that's better than white. And other people will spray and spray because they don't want a sign of it, and it's flawless. So when to stop is your call.
So we brush your hair against a black t-shirt or something, or whatever?
No.
It just doesn't.
Well, Melinda's got it on her legs, and she's wearing white pants. So no, once it's dry, and especially if you've got extensive vitiligo, like you might do all this at night, powder off and go to bed, and then you don't have that, time wasted in the morning, especially if you're like me and rather stay in bed that bit longer. You can go to bed, powder will sort of wear off. It's an organic but arrowroot based powder, so there's no talc, so that's harmless, and then you're good to go in the morning.
You shower off in the morning, shower away the powder, and you're set to go. And it doesn't age at night, so you're not kind of digging into that time where
So when you shower, you soak and soak off it.
You make sure that the soap doesn't have any alcohol. There's a few kind of like some soaps do, but most time you don't kind of scrub it because it's more likely paint. When you have paint in your hands, eventually scrub or paint with soap will come off. So you just kind of use it like cloth. It's the same as when you're drying. Don't kind of use it more pad dry than kind of scrub yourself with a towel. You're right to go.
So your arm is done. So what you do is just like leave it dry for just a few minutes, and it's just not too bad. And then she can powder off. The only reason you would wait a few minutes is just so in case it's a bit of a real wet patch, and then the powder gets stuck into that film. So it's not too likely with an airbrush that it'll be like that. But as I said, just to be matter of course. So depending, like as I said, we can have photos come in. We get photos every day, and either myself or Kevin checks those photos, which suggests what colours could be in that range. There is variation in sending photos. We ask people if they could have a white piece of paper near them, so a white background. So that's our point of reference, because if those photos come in and that background or piece of paper has got a yellow or blue tinge, we know that colour in the skin is not really true to life either. So ask no shadows. Don't go out and stand in the middle of the day in the bright sun, because that will sort of wash you out and it'll be hard to tell again. So the best we can do is like offer 3 or 4 samples, and then they can, matter of getting the right application to fit. So someone with extensive vitiligo, we would always suggest airbrushing, just because when you're putting it on with a sponge or a makeup brush, you have to do it evenly to get a really nice cover. And if you've got like arms and legs, no one's going to be able to be painstakingly doing it at the exact same pressure all the time to get
It's a
that
lot quicker
flawless
too.
look. Yeah, and you lose less product. So
Does it give you any degree of sun protection as well?
it does have a film. It doesn't have SPF built in or anything, but just purely because of the film on the skin, it does give you a certain level of, the sun just doesn't penetrate through that. So if you were having to have light treatment, you definitely need to take it off, because otherwise you're not going to get your effectiveness on the light treatment. It is sort of like a bit of an extra coating. We have some people that have like lupus and things like that, that's got quite fragile skin and very sensitive skin. We've had people that have sensitivity to even wind and, like the nerve endings, and it gives them that film, just that little bit of barrier against the elements to sort of give you that extra layer.
So we've had
I
some-
tend to just tan where I haven't got the vitiligo, my original olive skin, but not necessarily other parts because of that protection.
Yeah.
Sunscreen can be applied on the
Not
surface.
on top of it, like if you have to put sunscreen on top because you feel like you do get burnt, we suggest like a spray one, because if any of the sunscreens that are creamy, they will break it down a lot quicker. It might not break down immediately, but then when you have the shower, it could slide off. And same as as Kevin said about body washes and things like that, you might not see it immediately, or heavy duty moisturisers. It'd be better to have it off, moisturise, and then put it and make sure it's totally soaked in, not dewy, not sticky, and then put the product.
Is that the new product? that
Yes.
you're so this is the brand new product.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There's a question online about how does airbrushing work with arm hair?
arm hair,
Yeah.
it doesn't stick to hair, it only sticks to the skin. It might look a bit yuck when you're putting it on, but then after you powder and have a shower
It
or
settles.
wipe it,
Yeah.
you can wipe it off the hair.
And fingernails as well, it won't stick to fingernails, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've got a small area and you don't want to invest in an airbrush, what's the best way to apply it?
Either a makeup brush, a sponge, a stipple sponge, or we have people, because they don't want to clean the sponge, they'll put it on with a cotton bud, and then they just, if you're really having fine little dotty type vitiligo, it's like restoring fine art. You can literally get in there with a cotton bud, and then you throw it away and you don't even have to clean anything.
What about the lips? I don't know whether it can be applied on lips or not.
It can. Obviously, that's going to have a really short life by the time you're eating and drinking and things like that. So we also have little lip gloss containers, again, just portable in the pocket type thing. You can touch up. So depending on how much lip, I'm not sure if you might get some coverage by the end of the day, but depends.
Okay, in terms of cost and
Cost?
availability.
Well, say for instance a 50ml kit, which would be the colour, a little bottle, 50ml bottle of a remover to get it off your skin, an equipment cleanser to clean a brush or a sponge, and a dish and a sponge, that'd be $82.95. So if you've got little areas, so for instance if you've only got little patches on your hands, and you're just doing those patches, you know, it could last you 6 months. So it's, you know, like, it's a false economy to go, and we have people go to Woolworths and get some cheap makeup off Woolworths, but they'll be going through truckloads of it in a week. And rather than sort of getting products that are actually designed to camouflage and that have some staying power and also have the colour matching, it actually makes it more economical.
And what's the availability for both in Australia and abroad?
Yeah, it's available. Totally.
So people from overseas, because there's some people online as well. So how would they order it? Or?
Colourderma.com.au is our website, and yeah, we ship anywhere.
Okay. Derma Blend, or it's a totally different product?
No, Derma Blend is a cream, so it's completely different. This is a very thin liquid, as you can see. It could fit through an airbrush. So where Derma Blend is like probably closer to Derm Derm fluid. That's sort of like that sort of texture of Derma Blend. Derma Blend's quite hard to get in Australia. You have to get it from overseas now. But yeah.
Thank you. More questions?
This is again color derma, right?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How much is the airbrushing?
Well, we've got different sizes for different needs, like little airbrush compressor versus something like Melinda's got. So the airbrush themselves would be like 120, and you know, if you look after that, that lasts for years. How old's your airbrush?
This is fairly new, this one, but
Oh.
I had one that lasted me a long time. Yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah. So
Just eventually the needle might wear, but the actual structure of the gun, it won't. It's more the needle.
yeah, or if you rough and
It's
drop it on the floor or something.
still my original.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's only just starting to tip.
Yeah.
Still the original.
Yeah, so like that might be 120. A compressor, they range from anything from like $80 to $300. So depending on, you know, like we wouldn't sell a little $80 one unless someone really wanted portable, less than a kilo to travel with. But if you were using that every day, not only would it, and having this extensive vitiligo, you'd either burn out the compressor or you would get burnt out waiting for it to come through. You know, you want it to be as painless as possible. So get that product on and get on with the day.
I still travel with the big one because I just want it to work. Yeah.
For sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Melinda? Like she's
The user?
amazing.
Yeah. And how long does it take for you to do the full?
If I'm just doing neck and arms, I've probably down-packed it to 25 minutes now. But with my legs, maybe another 10, 15 minutes on top. But I tend to just spray from about my knee down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many days does it sort of last for you?
3 to 4 days, depending on activity, swimming,
Sure.
and so forth. Yeah, showering. You know, I'm always topping up my hands because of the fact that you're in washing up water and so forth. But that's quite quick. First thing in the morning, I just top it up.
And you airbrush the top up?
Yes, I do. Yeah. You know, it's there, ready for me on a daily basis.
Do you have it on your face?
I have it on my eyelids.
And how do you cover it?
At the moment, thank God, I don't have it too much on my face, but it's everywhere else. So I just use a foundation, and I've been able to cover it with Revlon Colour Stay. But I do have it at the top of my forehead, corner of my lips, my eyelids, a little bit here.
Wow.
Yeah. It's whatever works for you. If it covers, it covers. But everywhere else, I have vitiligo.
Your feet?
Sorry?
On your feet?
Yes,
Does it last
you know
on your
me.
feet?
Where don't I have it? It's probably what you should ask.
I hear.
Yes, where don't I have it?
Does it last long in your feet there?
Again, depending, you go to the beach, the abrasion from sand and so forth, it's gonna take it off.
Yeah.
But just normal swimming, no.
No, it's not the water, it's the sand.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's abrasion, so.
That's another thing, like when you go to the beach, it's waterproof, but if you pick up a towel that's sitting in sand and you dry yourself, you'll scratch it off.
Exactly, yeah, so it's
You
more,
usually tend to take 2 towels, one to kind of like pad dry yourself there
Yes.
as well too.
What about kids and sports and basketball and soccer and
As in them wearing it?
yeah.
Yeah, like, again, it'll be just like how hot and sweaty, you know, especially teenagers, how sweaty do they get. So it's a very variable sort of timeline.
They sit on the floors if they kneel.
I would say sitting on the floor is not going to be a problem. If they are crawling along on the carpet and they're roughing up their knees, that's going to give it a bit of a
like
beating.
you're rubbing on something.
Yeah.
But it's just like anything, it's gonna come off.
Yeah, and I mean, like we have a lot of kids and a lot, especially teenagers, and they just, I mean, they get to know themselves what they try to be a little gentle or a little avoid sort of things, but most of the time they're pretty cluey kids. They adapt to what the situation is as far as their product.
Do you think that by using the product, they end up using it for life, depending on it?
Depends on where they are at.
Yeah.
Like Melinda, for instance, doesn't leave home without it.
Yeah.
We've got heaps of people like that are head to toe, none of their friends know, and they're never going to know. But then we've had other people, especially over COVID, we had a bit of a shift where some people were diehard, don't walk out the front door without it, and then, you know, like they're at home, they sort of get used to not putting it on, and they sort of wean themselves off covering it up. And of course that in itself was very liberating for them. But then having camouflage of any of the products gives you the choice. You're empowered over something you've got not a lot of power over, and then you've got the tools, the equipment, the skills to work out what you want to do. So that for the kids is a big deal, right? I'm stuck with this and I can't do anything about it.
Michelle from the Skin Hospital, or Julie and Mel. So, yeah, so we can thank you very much for joining, either online or in person, and we hope to make the recording available as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.